First, let me start by saying that this is not an official prediction video, so if you leave a weird comment, I know you didn't bother to watch the video. Anyways, let's jump straight into it. Sean O'Malley has gone from absolutely overrated to absolutely underrated in this matchup. And this is basically a video just breaking down how Sean O'Malley can absolutely beat Petr Yan. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. All I'm saying is that he has a chance in this fight, guys. Although he is definitely the betting underdog, and he should be, he has a chance. Now, I'll say this. Sean O'Malley really had a good level tester against Pedro Munoz. I thought that would be a really good matchup for him and a really good jump to get into the murky waters of the bantamweight division after fighting tomato cans most of his career. And when he fought Pedro Munoz, it was oddly even, to be honest. It was a very even fight, and that's not a good sign considering the trajectory of their careers. O'Malley's going up and Munoz is going down, and O'Malley could barely get by him. Now, a lot of people missed the fact that Pedro Munoz was fighting oddly defensive that whole time. He was just looking to land kicks from the outside the entire time, not looking to engage with O'Malley with the hands, and just fought an odd game plan. It was smart, don't get me wrong, and it was a very skillful match, but the fight just never got going because Sean is not just going to go in and recklessly engage. That's more so what Pedro Munoz does. So that's why the fight ended up like that. And when you look at Petr Yan, when Petr Yan is the number one fighter in the bantamweight division, in my opinion, I believe that he beat Aljamain Sterling twice now. But with that being said, Petr Yan does take his time to start fighting. And in my opinion, Sean O'Malley, in terms of striker, Sean O'Malley is going to have an easier time with Petr Yan than any of the other strikers. Not meaning he's going to outstrike him. I'm just saying that he has a higher chance than outstriking somebody like Corey Sandhagen. Now, let me explain. Petr Yan takes his time, yes, and he's also a very stationary target. A lot of people aren't talking about this. Yes, Yan makes reads and he makes downloads, he downloads data, whatever the heck y'all want to say, acting like he's a freaking robot. The truth is that Yan is human, guys, and his style, the way that he sits there and stands in front of you, Sean O'Malley is probably going to have a field day with somebody like that. You look at the Pedro Munoz fight. Pedro Munoz was bouncing around, landing leg kicks, and dipping in and out of range. Petr Yan literally stands in a boxing stance, just standing there. Now, the kicks of Petr Yan and the tosses and the trips of Petr Yan is going to be really troublesome for O'Malley. But the truth is that you guys don't recognize that O'Malley has a massive speed advantage. A massive speed advantage over Petr Yan. That is one of the most dynamic things about Sean O'Malley, is that not only is he a crispy striker who, in my opinion, doesn't have a lot of setups, doesn't really throw a lot of combinations, doesn't have a lot of, it's more so flash instead of technique, in my opinion. And when I say that, I don't think he's all that technical, but I do think he's very flashy and hard to read because he's so fast and so dynamic and explosive. That's going to be very hard for a guy like Petr Yan to make his way in on. Not to mention, he's, like I said, he's very fast, and he's going to be much faster than Petr Yan. And so, when you look at that, the last thing, which is also a very big factor, not only is he faster than Petr Yan, he's also bigger and taller and longer. And I believe that Petr Yan hasn't fought somebody as tall as O'Malley. Correct me if I'm wrong, in a respectful way, please. So, when you combine all that and the kicks and the techniques of O'Malley, he can definitely win this fight. And I believe that he not only could win, he could win in a devastating fashion. Meaning, I believe that he could possibly knock out Petr Yan. Yes, I said it. I believe that Yan comes in with that boxing heavy stance, and he really just sits there in front of you, and he tries to cut off the cage, but against a guy like O'Malley, I believe that he's not going to be very successful with that, considering O'Malley's always moving and is always throwing something. He's not like a Corey Sandhagen, who is just moving and not really throwing anything. Sean O'Malley is going to be throwing that right hand like a piston the whole time, and I believe that it's going to connect. And in my opinion, call me crazy, but I feel like the first combo Yan lands is going to have a devastating effect on O'Malley, but I believe that he'll be able to take it. But I truly think, you look at that Uriah Faber fight with Petr Yan, I truly think if O'Malley lands a flush right hand on Petr Yan, I believe that he could put him down. And Jan really doesn't leave a lot of openings defensively when it comes to his head. The truth is that Jan is going to have to utilize not only a lot of kicks, but he really is going to have to mix up his wrestling with the boxing. Otherwise, he's giving O'Malley his best chance to win. If O'Malley doesn't have to worry about anything but the striking, Jan, don't get me wrong, can still outstrike O'Malley. It's just that Jan takes a while to get going. And I believe that a guy who is going to be much longer, much faster, and honestly much more hard to read, I believe that that's going to cause him some trouble early on, and O'Malley can really get up on him. O'Malley can definitely win this fight. That's all I'm really just am going to say. So don't be too shocked if you see O'Malley beat Petr Yan, and better yet, if he knocks him out, because that can definitely happen. I believe that O'Malley's chances of knocking Jan out is just as high as Jan's chances of knocking O'Malley out. Call me crazy, say what you want, but the truth is the attributes of O'Malley is going to give problems to Petr Yan, especially if he comes prepared. It's been your boy Trippy. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm out, man.